There was a time when a simple wound could become a death sentence, say, tiny cut from a blade A, scrape from rough wood day, wound from bat. Something as small as a cracked finger or a thorn in the skin could slowly turn deadly before antibiotics existed. Infection was one of humanity's greatest fears. There were no glowing hospital rooms, no emergency medicine, no pharmacies open late at night. Shelves filled with pills, waiting to stop disease before it spread. If a wound became infected, people often had only two choices: where to or pre-and. Yet somehow, humanity survived, and all of the millions were lost to sickness, injury, and infection. But enough people survived to carry ancient knowledge forward through generations. Knowledge whispered around fires passed from mothers to daughters, from healers to travelers, from wounded soldiers to frightened villagers. Among those old stories, one plant appeared again and again, a plant called Yarrow, small wild flower with soft white petals growing quietly beside roads, fields, forests, and mountain trails. Most people today would walk past it without noticing. Ancient people looked at plants differently. To them, every leaf mattered, every root mattered, every flower might mean survival. And for centuries, people believed yarrow could stop bleeding, heal wounds, and protect the body from infection. Warriors carried it into battle tucked beside weapons and bandages. Travelers packed it before crossing dangerous lands. Village healers crushed its leaves into poultices and pressed them against open wounds. Some boiled the plant into bitter teas during fever, used it for pain, swelling, stomach, sickness, or skin problems. Over time, yarrow became known by many names: the wound herb, the field medicine. Soldiers plant. Some even believed it possessed protective powers beyond medicine itself. One ancient legend says the Greek warrior Achilles used yarrow to treat wounded soldiers during war. Is why many believe the scientific name Achilles millefolium was inspired by him. Whether every detail of the legend is true, no one can say for certain. But stories like this survive for a reason, because people remembered what seemed to help them stay alive. Strangely, centuries later, modern research discovered that yarrow contains natural compounds connected to anti-inflammatory effects and blood clotting activity, meaning ancient healers may have discovered something real long before laboratories existed. Not through microscopes, not through chemistry textbooks, but through observation, through trial and error, through thousands of years of watching what happened to the human body. That is what makes ancient plant medicine so fascinating. It was born from necessity. People did not study herbs because it was trendy. They studied herbs because death was always nearby. Farmer cutting wood could lose his life to child with fever might never recover. A wounded soldier far from home had little more than cloth, water, and whatever plants grew nearby. Nature was not just scenery back then. Nature was survival for most of human history. Plants were humanity's first pharmacy. Plants fed humanity, clothed humanity, sheltered humanity, and healed humanity. Entire civilizations depended on natural remedies because there was nothing else. In medieval villages, herbs hung drying from ceilings, while healers prepared medicines from roots, flowers, and leaves. Among those hanging plants, yarrow appeared again and again, not because people believed it could perform miracles, but because enough people believed it helped enough to trust it with wound enough to pass its story forward generation after generation. And yarrow was not alone across ancient cultures. Humans searched forests, deserts, mountains, and valleys looking for plants that could ease suffering. Some remedies worked, some did nothing, some were dangerous. But slowly, over centuries, people built an enormous library of survival knowledge, completely from experience. That forgotten relationship with nature shaped human history more than most people realize. Even many modern medicines originally came from plants. Aspirin traces back to willow bark. Certain cancer medicines came from forest plants. Powerful heart treatments were discovered in flowers. Nature has always been chemically alive in ways humans are still trying to understand. Maybe that is why stories like yarrow still fascinate people today, because deep down, modern life often feels disconnected from the natural world. People now see weeds where ancient humans saw medicine. We see empty fields where earlier generations saw possibility: food, medicine, protection, hope. That may be the most important part of yarrow's story. Not that it cured everything, not that ancient people possessed magical knowledge, but that fragile human beings faced terrifying uncertainty, and searched for anything that could help them. Sometimes they found plants that truly did something useful even if they never fully understood why. Imagine living in a world where there were no antibiotics, no painkillers, no emergency instant medical answers. A deep cut could mean weeks of fear. A fever could spread through entire villages, watched helplessly as sickness moved through families. With almost no way to stop it in that kind of world, even a small amount of healing mattered. A little relief mattered. Plants like Yarrow gave people something priceless during those moments. Hope during fear, hope during pain, hope during uncertainty. Perhaps that is why the plant survived in human memory for so long. Not because it was perfect, but because people needed something to believe in when survival was never guaranteed. Today, scientists still study medicinal plants because nature remains incredibly complex. Inside ordinary leaves, flowers, and roots are thousands of chemical compounds, many still not fully understood. Some may become future medicines, others may teach entirely new ways to treat disease. And while not every ancient remedy was effective, some old traditions may have carried fragments of truth hidden beneath centuries of storytelling. Does not mean every plant is safe or that ancient medicine should replace modern medicine. It reminds us of something important. Humanity's relationship with nature is far older than modern civilization itself. Long before cities, skyscrapers, pharmacies, and machines, humans survived by paying attention to the living world around them. And somewhere beside a quiet road, even now, Yarrow still grows silently in the grass, unnoticed by most people, passing by, a forgotten survivor from the world before antibiotics. Still here, still growing, still carrying stories from humanity's oldest battles with pain, sickness, fear, and survival.